I had one case, and this person comes in and says he's sponsoring somebody from overseas.
Yes.
And I did the tax return. We did the tax return for him, and he said he's sponsoring something from overseas and he needs a balance sheet. And I thought, oh, well, this is a nice gentleman. And I said, all right. I said, so I said, look, it's very simple because you only got this. So I will, I'll do a balance sheet for you for free. Sure. And and so I did that. And by mistake, we posted the thing out. He came to collect it. He was real upset. He said, "Oh," I said, "Well, I'll just print it out again. Sit down. We'll take you, 20 minutes. We'll print another one out." "Oh, I'm not happy. All right." And then he wasn't happy, and he, I did this balance sheet for free for him, and
never do freebies. They always bite you in the ass.
So then, anyway, off he went. "Oh, I'm not happy." So then a week later, he said, "Oh, the government said yes, that was good what you gave him, but could you explain certain things on it?" And I said, "Well, you said you weren't happy." "Oh, I'm not happy with your service." I said, "Well, if you're not happy,
get the fuck out of here."
Well, I'm not going to do anything for you. You get somebody where you are happy. "Oh, well, I'm not." Anyway, he wanted me
What
to.
What nationality was he?
Oh, Australian. He wanted me to, I don't know, lick his backside. I did something for free. Inadvertently, we posted out instead of holding it. All you had to do is sit there. 20 minutes later, he's got the thing anyway. Just another copy. Just push the button on the computer. Out it comes out. Bind it for him. There it is. No, he was not happy. And then I did things for free, and he's not happy. And then he wants you to do something. And then 6 months later, he comes back for a tax return.
What did you say to him?
I said, "I'm not happy with you either." I said, "You're the guy that said you weren't happy." "Yeah, I'm not happy." "Well,
fuck off."
"Well, I don't want people who are not happy."
Have you told people to fuck off?
I'm not happy.
Have you told many people to fuck off?
Yeah, I've asked them to go away.
What do you say to them?
I said, "I don't want to do anything for you." And as I said, if I've done something, I get it back and I tear it up. And they say, "Well, I just need that because you're all that work, that takes a lot of time." All he's going to do is adjust your figures and use it himself.
Yeah, that's not true. That's
no way. And people, a lot of clients, you do something, it's not the right answer, he'll change some figures, make it look really good, and then say, "Can you just certify that?"
You say, "Get fucked."
Well, you go in jail. I mean, these people are
fucking fraudsters.
That's not friends, and that's not like a friend we had, a very good friend. He does that, and he wants you to, you give him an answer. The answer's bad, so he cooks the figures, retypes, and says, "Just sign. That's the answer."
It's not the fucking answer, is it?
That's not a friend. And then you have friends who, like, they might be bad financial things and they go broke. They're going bankrupt. So they declared themselves bankrupt and they say, "Can you do these figures? It's going to take you a whole week to do this work, but you aren't going to get paid." So "No, we'll pay me in advance," and then that's not then if you pay in advance, then it's not a thing where they can claw it back. So I said, "Oh, I haven't got the money." Well, well, I can't sit here and spend a week's work. There's people waiting for work which I'm struggling to meet on time, and you want me to sit here for a week at no cost, do it for free. And then they say, "Oh, I don't like you anymore. Then you're not your friend." Well, do you need friends like that? If you have friends like that, you go bankrupt.
So you tell one customer a year to fuck off? How many would you tell to fuck off in your life?
Well, I don't tell them to fuck off, and I always speak to them with respect and dignity to unless they're bad to me.
Sure.
But I speak to them kindly. I try to explain to them what the problem is. But when they're unreasonable, I just say, "Look, I'm not willing to do that." And how many times? Well, at least one a year. Maybe two. Yeah. That's very rare because most people will then adjust. Say, "All right, then, sorry, then I understand where you're coming from. That you can't do that."
Yeah.
But
and you're trying to keep customers happy. You're running a business.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You want to keep them happy. You don't want to tell people to fuck off.
No. But if they're unreasonable and going to put me in a bad position, or I'm not prepared to falsify things and entertain fraud or anything silly like that. I did have one client I told not to buy a business, and the guy who was selling rang me up and said he's going to kill me, he's going to shoot me. Now I should have gone to the police, but I didn't, and nothing, it just fizzled away. But some people get very annoyed because you've told a person not to buy a business because the figures are wrong. Well, you've told him honestly it's not right, and just because he's going to threaten you, well, I mean...
Sure, he just belongs in a mental hospital.
He should be in a mental hospital, locked away.
Actually, and if he needed proof that the business wasn't worth buying, you just need his threats.
And if he threatens you, that's assault anyway. That's a criminal offence to do that. But you don't want to get involved in that sort of thing. It takes time and that sort of thing. And one of the worst ones I had was a Morris brothers, ex-Morris brother. Comes
They're
in.
a bunch of cunts, those Catholics.
Oh well,
fucking Catholic cunts.
This Morris brother was
fucking dishonest cunts, you know.
Well, I don't know what he was the most obnoxious person I've ever struck in my life. He just was. He didn't like the answer. A client brought in a friend who he'd taken money off, and they want the money back and trying to negotiate, and he then starts to threaten everybody and going to ring the accountancy board, trying to get you registered because you're I mean, he's an ex-Morris brother.
He used to go to prison.
Well, I think probably a lot of people that join these religious organisations might be all there in the first place.
Anyhow, aren't they?
Yeah. Why would you want to
give up pussy?
Well, why would you want to be
crazy fuckers?
Well, why would you want to live in a place with a whole number of men? And in the old days, there was a different mental thinking as to why you did that and whatever. These days, I mean, they're not getting anybody who wants to be a priest. They're not getting people to be nuns. They're not getting people to be brothers. Monks. You call them the old days, Christian brothers, Morris brothers. So people don't want to do that. They've got such a bad name for themselves. And when you're there,
all I can say is it couldn't happen to a nicer bunch of cunts.
Well, I think the church, they were so strict in their requirements. I remember, a good friend of ours, they want to get married, so they went to our priest, and he said, "I'm not marrying you. You're in sin. If you're pregnant, you're in sin. I'm not marrying you." So they went to then the Australian priest, and the Australian Catholic priest, and he said, "Yeah, he was a nice guy. This guy drank all the time, and but he was he said, "Yeah, I'll marry you." So the parents said, "Look, this Australian priest will marry you. Well, how about you? Because and he said, "Oh well, rightio. Well, we'll marry you, but you got to stand in the back of the church. You can't wear white to show that you've hurt God." And all these blinking rules. Now, and he just thought he was God. He knew whatever, and you were wrong, and he was God. And look what's happened with the church. They were so bad, and I mean, not all priests, but say, like I think the Pope said only 10% are pedophiles. Only 10%. If you said only 0.001%, they'd think, "Oh well, yeah, maybe. Well, that's all right. You always get one bad egg somewhere. But when there's 10% of them are bad, that's unbelievable. And yet they had these strict moral code. In fact, many years later, another people came in and they said to me, "Oh, we're getting married at the Catholic Church next weekend." I said, "Oh." He said, "Yeah. Well, on at 2:00, my wife and I and the 3 kids are getting baptized, and at 4:00 we're getting married." I thought, wow, that's a change for the Catholic Church. In the old days, you'd have to.
It's because they've got no fucking cunts coming there.
You have to crawl on your knees and in a black suit, and wow, fancy marrying a person who's been living.
There's no one there. No one's going anymore.
Well, it's the best.
People have voted with their feet. They're not going anymore.
It's the best thing that's happened to them because they were so strict and so righteous, and that's okay. Maybe that was okay. That was a good moral code to have. But when they were so bad themselves, and then they hid it and hid it and hid it and hid it more and more and more, and hid it again and more and more and hid it, and then they're telling you what to do. Nobody listens to them. No, and that's why, like you say, for refugees, in the old days, the church was a power. People would listen to the church. They just laugh at them. They can say whatever they like. Even the church is on the right path and has got a good good argument and a good case, and it's trying to genuinely help people. Nobody laughs at them. They just laugh at them and say, "Oh, you're a mob of mongrels. Yeah, you're just and they've lost all credibility." And it's sad because a lot of things in the church. There's a lot of good things they do. They run hospitals, they run schools, which are quite good. They do a lot of good work.
They make a lot of money out of schools.
No, in the old days they got no support. No. When I went to the Catholic school, the government gave them nothing, and so that school fees was it, and therefore they had teachers that worked for free. Some teachers worked for free, and the nuns of course worked for free. Yeah. The nuns didn't get a pay wage, and they lived in a poor convent, real basic existence. Because at the end of the school year, the nun asked who would like to come and clean my room out. And we volunteered because we want to see what does a nun do. Does she wear underpants, things like that? And so off we went, and it was just a
fucking
basic. Wooden floor, lino, the old lino.
Yes.
A bed, a thing to pray, like a little thing to pray, and basic mattress, just basic.
Nothing.
Worse than my place, which was very poor. And you think poor nun, those nuns, and then they taught the kids. Their view was, well, these kids from a poor background should need education, whatever, and they might have been a bit hit you a bit more than they do now, but the state schools were just as bad. There was that era came out of that after the war of discipline, and state schools were bad too. And so, but the school, the nuns worked for free. You paid school fees, but that wasn't much. It was
that's exactly it. No, that's
and they sort of, they just taught you when the school inspector came, you did craft and books and this sort of stuff. But when the inspector gone, that was the end of it.
It's a lot like a Nazi propaganda.
Yeah, that's right. It was. It was
like a death camp. When the UN comes around, they got food and this and that. When after they fuck off, they're straight into the gas chambers.
Yeah, that's right.
That's
how it was. And it was funny because the inspector would come and they'd say, "Yeah, we do craft, we do sport." I never done sport at that primary school in my life. We never did sport. Right, at playtime, in the playground, you kicked the ball around because
there's nothing else to do.
But that wasn't sport. You knocked out the window, the thing, and you got the strap. Next to the neighbour's window, and but they pretended to do. But I suppose in one sense that was not a bad approach because they taught you English. They taught you maths, and then you had a thing called social studies, which was geography and history combined. And that was the three subjects you did. And the other stuff, they didn't spend any time on anything else except religion. You had to kneel and pray for half an hour a day. And you also had the Catholic school, the kids had black knees from the dirty floors when they were kneeling on. And that was it. And
that's how it fucking went. That was life.
But and I think a lot of the nuns were very. They didn't do bad things, and but what's come out, what the priests were doing, and that is just shocking. And it's no wonder they got nobody coming there because if they'd nipped it in the bud and stopped it, but it wasn't just Queensland. It wasn't just Australia.
No, it's all over the
House of Lords in England had a big case. The Irish Parliament, just crucified them. What they did in Ireland is shocking.
Well, that's the whole thing. The IRA achieved so much, right?
Yeah.
Then these fucking Catholics. The church is losing numbers. It's not because of the fucking Protestants coming in. Churches are out of flavour. They're out of flavour.
It wasn't just the Catholic Church who did that. The Church of England people did bad things too, and then the Seventh-day Adventists and the Jewish rabbis, but they're all hiding. Each one was hiding it. And when you had that inquiry here, it all came out. Salvation Army, same thing. All those groups, they're all shocking. And but I suppose you look at the Salvation Army, they were so bad and so cruel. But then you look now. I never liked the Salvation Army because of what happened to my friend, how they treated him, and the cruelty and what came out was just what happened. He was part of that, where they were horrible to him. But when you get drug addicts now, they've got the thing at Red Hill. They've got a big place. They take these guys, people in who are complete hopeless alcoholics, drug addicts, hopeless,
losers,
and they look after them for 10 months. They take the pension or benefits, but they look after them, they feed them.
These people are a liability. These
And
people
and they try to rehabilitate them. They seem to be Salvation Army seemed to be very good with the adults in trying to help them. You know, the people who are destitute and whatever, but not very good with the kids. They were so cruel and so they didn't have the right formula down there. But with the end result, they seem to be very. I don't know exactly, but you know, but they seem to be very effective in the adult section when you really. When you fail, when they haven't beaten you into a good life, when you're a complete no-hoper, they take you in and try to rehabilitate you and get you to do something, and yet with the kids they were so cruel and so nasty.
Well, this is how it is. I mean, anyone who worked for those organisations wasn't getting good money. This is the lowest form of sludge there is. Like if you can't get a normal job, you're going to do one of those jobs, don't you?
Yeah.
You know that's the whole thing.
Shocking what
let's just stop that for a minute there.